And welcome back to yet another. This is book review number 4 on this beautiful Friday morning after having such a great breakfast. That was, I like to, when I have my breakfast, you saw that I had coffee with it, of course. We know that we like coffee. We like coffee. Uh, I like to put uh, ground cinnamon and nutmeg mixed into and I take my coffee very, very, very dark. I like dark roast. But you mix that in with the grounds. Don't mix it into the drink. Don't mix it into the drink. Mix it into the grounds and then brew the coffee that way. And I tell you, the aroma, the taste, it blends it perfectly, and you don't have, because cinnamon is very hard to blend with liquids. When it comes to foods and dough and non-solids, it's okay. But liquid coffee, milk, you know, uh, it doesn't really blend very well. You'll get chunks of it. You get powder in the coffee. It sticks to the cup. You put the grounds and the ground cinnamon together in the filter, and then that way it filters the cinnamon and gives you just the right amount of aroma, just the right amount of cinnamon in the coffee, and it's really, really great. Really, really great. Now, thank you for being so patient with me. All right, so anyway, next book on our list for this morning is The City of Ember by Jeanne DuPrau. Now, this is book 1 of a saga. I believe it's 5 or 6 books. I originally thought it was a trilogy, and I found this book in a free library. I now own this book. I probably use it to trade it in. City of Ember, DuPrau. Trade it in on another book. Um, this book here was found because that edge just kind of stood out to me sitting on the bookshelf. And I thought, it sounds familiar. I've heard the title before. Yes, this has been adapted into a major motion picture. Haven't seen the movie though, but I decided to go ahead and read the book. Here's the summary. Lena Mayfleet desperately wants to be a messenger. Instead, she draws the dreaded job of pipeswork laborer, which means she'll be working in damp tunnels deep underground. Dune Harrow draws messenger and asks Lena to trade. Dune wants to be underground. That's where the generator is. And Dune has ideas about how to fix it. For as long as anyone can remember, the great lights of Ember have kept the endless darkness at bay. But now the lights are beginning to flicker. So, this is, excuse me, sci-fi fiction, and it's a good story. So, oh, excuse me. So Lena and Dune work together. They live together in this tiny town that is cast in darkness. And the city runs off of a network of generators of some kind of power source that keeps the lights on. Now, when you look up in the sky, you see nothing. When you look past the city walls, you get to the edge of the city, you see nothing. And the city itself is starting to fall apart. Now, it opens this way, with nobody ever leaving the city, nobody knowing anything more about why they're there, how they got there, what's going on outside the city limits. So while they're in school, This has kind of a Hunger Games kind of feel to it, the story type. But while they're in school, they come to a certain age. They're not in school as long as typical people on Earth, in our plane of existence. No 12 years. They don't go to school for that long. But once they've learned enough, they end up having to participate in a raffle to figure out what their professional job is going to be. The mayor will come out to the school and they'll dip into a hat, pull out a piece of paper that has a job on it, and all the jobs that are inside the hat are current vacancies. So you never know what you're going to get. And Lena ends up, she's always been wanting to be a messenger. She's flighty, she wants to run around. And the messengers are very simple. They don't have a telephone system, they don't have a whole lot of technology. They're in darkness. And so what do the messengers do? They literally take a message, a vocal message from one person that's directed to another person. So they literally run around the city all day long, picking up one message, memorizing it, taking it over to the person it's intended for, and then vocalizing that message. And then that may have a return message, maybe not. They may end up, and they're dispatched. I don't know how that dispatching actually works because they don't have any means of communication or whatnot. But they're assigned to certain areas of the town, and when they go there, anybody sees them, they're dressed a certain way. Somebody sees a messenger, if they're not doing anything, they run up to them and say, hey, I need to give Jeanne a message, Jeanne over there in this part of town, and here's the message. And then they run over there. And that's what Lena wants to do. She's young, she's healthy, she likes to run around, she gets a chance to see the entire city. But when she goes and takes the raffle or participates in the raffle, she gets the job of pipe work laborer, which means there's a part of the city that's actually underground. And only the people who work down there know what's going on down there. But when you get down there, you find out that the power generator that has the lights that are on up in the city is down underground. And the city's lights have been fading. They have power outages. They go into complete darkness from time to time. They're running out of resources. They don't have, the stores shelves are becoming empty. And they're at the end of, a satisfying existence. And so Dune has been figuring this out. It's like, I know there's a power generator. I know that, we've got to figure out how to get this thing up and running and how to make it work better. And so he wants to go underground, and he ends up getting the job that Lena wants. And so these are kids in the same grade, in the same school, drawing at the same time. And now, after school, Dune goes over there and says, hey, look, you got pipe work laborer. I want that job. I'll trade for you. And it's just a little piece of paper, right? It's very not sophisticated means of, they don't really care. It's just random. So it's like, why not give the individual who actually wants the job that job? And it's just like, it's not fair. So to all level of fairness, let's just do a raffle. So they end up raffling, and Dune's like, I'm not happy with the raffle. I don't want this job. Let me have your job. Let's trade. And all they have to do is just take their piece of paper that they drew from the hat, and they're told, okay, well, you're a messenger. All right, well, you need to go over to the messenger's office and give them this piece of paper, and they'll put you to work. Right? Oh, you're a pipe work laborer? Okay, well, you need to go down into the basement, go over to his office, give them this piece of paper, and then they'll put you to work. And then that's how they learn their career, their profession. moving forward, right? So you don't have to necessarily go to school to be a pipeworks laborer. You don't necessarily have to go to school to be a storefront owner. No, no, no. You just get those jobs. And then whatever job you get, that's what you're trained in once you've gotten it. So there's some basic stuff that they teach you in school, but because they don't want you in school for so long, learning stuff that you don't need to know, you don't go through a whole 12 years worth of school. So anyway, once that happens, Doom gets down there and finds out that no, these guys we're doomed. We're running out of resources. The generator is literally falling apart. We don't have parts to replace it. They're just basically patching it together every time it breaks. And every time it breaks, it doesn't last as long. And so we need to get out of here. We need to figure out what's going on. Dune and Lena end up coming together. And something that's pretty cool with it was like, you find out in the very beginning of the story that the people who built the City of Ember built it for a specific purpose. And these people were sent here to live here. But they were giving instructions on what to do once it became unlivable. But each mayor was given this task. They didn't want anybody to know, so it was only told to one person. And every time that person transfers out of the position of mayor, they end up giving the next person, the next mayor, all the information. It's like, this is a letter that was given to us by the builders. I haven't read it. It wasn't time for me to read it. It's time locked. So when it's time for it to be read, it'll automatically open up. And when that does, you have to open it up and read the instructions. And so each mayor was passing this information on, until the last mayor, which was Lena's grandfather or some relation. I can't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, he ends up dying before he was able to pass this information on to the next mayor. While they were in the house, her grandmother, who is delusional and starting to get Parkinson's types of side effects, she starts digging for something. She starts realizing that something's missing. I need to find something. And she ends up uncovering it, not realizing that she's uncovered this package deal. And while she was searching for it, the baby brother, toddler, ends up getting his hands on this package and ends up busting it open somehow. And he begins to chew on the instructions. And Lena finds it. She gets it away from the child, but not before a great deal of the message has been destroyed. And so as she begins to read this and begins to feel that there is some significance in this thing is kind of important. I don't know what's going on with this, but she's trying to read it and she's trying to figure it out. And she finds out that it has something to do with underground stuff. So she runs and finds Dune and tries to tell Dune about what's going on. And she and Dune end up finding out that these were the instructions on how to recover from the city falling apart. And without giving you more or giving you too much, her and Dune began to go into the underground and begin to uncover a hidden message that was left to them that was going to save the City of Ember. And they end up going together and working together. And they actually, it's a continuing story. They actually end up finding a lot of answers and incorporating a lot of other folks, safe folks, to be able to help them. They try to get the mayor involved, but the mayor is slightly corrupt. He's corrupt. And doesn't know that this was something that was supposed to be passed down to him. And so this is a 4-star review. I really enjoyed this. What I liked about it was that it's not large print, but it's not, fine print. The book was very easy to read. The verbiage was very, very illustrative. You can actually picture and feel the gloom and feel the darkness that you're surrounded by. It was written very well and descriptive enough without being over the top. I really, really, really appreciated how fun this was, and to be able to escape that darkness. 4-star review, and we are moving into book number 2. It's going to be once a month. We're going to read one of the books from the Book of Ember. Now, this is the first book is the City of Ember, but the series is called the Book of Ember. Great, great story. And I guess one of the things I did not like, I hate to say it, there's too many books in the series. It leaves you, it's not necessarily something I don't like. I actually like the fact that it keeps you questioning, it keeps you wondering. It doesn't answer all the mysteries. It reveals the mystery and then gives you more information about it and then doesn't answer it. And then you're like, oh, wow, okay, right? You're able to make some solid conclusions and you're able to feel a certain way about it, but it's just, I don't know, it's very well written. Not a lot I don't like about this book. It was a good book. It was a very interesting book. So, Dean and Lena are now together, starting book number 2, and can I say that? Let's just do this. That's the book. If you want to hear a little bit more, probably some more with spoilers involved in it, then go ahead and keep watching. And if you don't, then go ahead and turn the video off here. 4-star rating, and the CG rating for this particular book is, I like it. All right. So now for the rest of you guys, so Dune and Lena actually end up escaping the City of Ember, right? And they find out that these guys have been living inside of a mountain this whole time. Huge spoiler. I warned you. Now that they've escaped the City of Ember, there's more. There is a huge, they escape into a wide open world. It looks endless, and there are creatures they haven't seen before, and they don't know why and they could turn around and look into the darkness, and they could almost see the City of Ember in the distance, but it's not some easy, you can't just walk in there. There was a secretive way of being able to get out. The instructions were, it's like you can't accidentally wander out of the City of Ember. You're stuck in there without those instructions. And so Dune and Lena get out, and now that they're out, they're like, how do we get the rest of them out of there? Because now we don't know how to get back in there. You can't get back in there because the way we came is non-returnable. It was exit only. And now we're out and we're saved, and we've got the whole world to our wonderment. And now what do we do with the rest of the folks? So when I got to the end of this book, I'm like, I have to get the book 2. I have to get book 2 because there's no way in the world I'm going to leave it at that. So we're moving on to book 2, which is The People of Sparks from the Book of Ember. Wonderful, wonderful story. 4 stars because I couldn't read one book and move on. But the simplicity, of it. It's great. It's great. Well, thank you for joining me for this book review. The City of Ember by Jeanne DuPrau.